Hey pastors, I hope you're having a great week. You probably know the quote by Max Dupree that says, a leader's first job is to define reality, to shed a light on the organization, to say what's true about that organization at any given time. Now, sometimes that truth is awesome and it's great to deliver because the charts are going up and to the right. Other times, that truth can be hard to swallow because our churches are stagnant, we're stuck, or maybe even we're declining to some degree. But the best leaders I know are leaders that refuse to bury their heads in the sand whenever they're facing challenges or difficulties. Instead, they want to focus on them and figure out, what do we need to do to get unstuck? What do we need to do to help our organizations get growing again? And those same great leaders, even if their churches are going up and to the right, even if things are going great in their churches, they also recognize that they have to offer wonderful leadership in those times as well, because whatever's working now may not work in another 6 or 9 or 12 months. They have to remain hungry. They have to keep looking at the numbers, if you will, just to see how are things really, really going. Here's what I find. Pastors, we're just really, really busy. We have to put a message together every week. We have to make sure that the discipleship and spiritual formation process in our churches are going really well. We have to make sure the finances are going well. We have to make sure that people are being cared for, that we're meeting with people who want to meet with us and all those kinds of things. We're just really busy. And because of that, these defined reality conversations can go unhad for seasons, even years at a time in the life of a church. So because of that, this year at District Conference, I challenged us all to do 2 things. Number 1, to never forget how lost felt. And number 2, to have one of these let's define the reality conversations. My encouragement to you was to grab a leadership team. Now, I don't care who that leadership team is. That's totally up to you. You might want to put your board together. You might want it to be a board along with a couple other people from your church who are people of influence or insight or discernment. Maybe you want to put just an adjunct group together just for this purpose. That's great, whatever you want to do. And what we would hope happen is that this group, when they come together, would basically do 3 simple things. Number 1, they take a snapshot of the present reality of your church. They're just going to look at the numbers. They're going to say, hey, how many people are coming into a relationship with Jesus Christ over the last year or 2 in our church? How many people are being baptized? Where are our attendance numbers going? How's our giving doing? That kind of thing. Now, in your local context, you may have some other matrix that you want to follow, that you want to kind of look at. You might want to say, well, how many people are involved in community involvement, in missional things in the life of our church? How many people are visiting our church on any given Sunday? And are we doing a great job of retaining those folks? Is our visitor retention what we want it to be? How many people are serving around the life of our church? How many people are involved in small groups in the life of our church? Are we giving to missions in a way that we really feel God is leading us to? Again, there can be all different kinds of matrix that you want to focus into the life of your local church. That's great. So that first job really is to look at the numbers. And then secondly, this group would ask, well, what are those numbers telling us? And as a result of that, what are the things that we should be celebrating? What are the things that God is doing in our midst and we should be celebrating? And what are the things that should be warning signals for us? Like, oh, wow, we've got these things that we need to begin to look at. So the first thing is just to, again, define reality, look at the numbers. Number 2, what are those numbers saying to us? What are the things we can praise God for? And what are the things we need to be looking at? And then number 3, to begin to define action plans of how then are we going to respond to what we're seeing. For instance, if we want to be a multi-generational church, if that's one of our goals, and if we're not reaching all generations, then what do we need to be doing about that? What plans do we need to put in place? If we want to be ethnically diverse, if we want to look around our community and say, are we mirroring our community as far as the ethnicity that we see around us? And if not, then what are the things that we need to put in place? If we're not seeing visitor retention like we want to see, then what do we need to put in place? If we're not seeing as many people come to Jesus or perhaps be baptized, then again, what are the things that we need to put in place? I trust you with those things. I hope that you'll have those conversations. I really, really do. I'm wanting you to do that. As a matter of fact, after you've had those conversations, the DBA, who's made up of your peers, have asked me to ask you to send in a summary by the end of October of that conversation, of this conversation that you've had with this leadership team, whoever you've put together. Just send us that summary so we can pray for you and pull for you and ask God just to bless you as you begin to initiate some things to help. Now, one final thing that you need to know. It's often in my own leadership, when I'm having these kind of conversations, when I'm looking at things, it is so much easier if I bring an outside facilitator in to help lead these type of conversations so that I can just sit and be a participant in them. I don't have to lead them. I can just be a regular just participant in the meeting. And if you'd like to do that, if you'd like to have someone else come in from the outside, then Jack Lynn, who's awesome at this, he just does it in his sleep. He's very good at it. He has trained some facilitators here in our district to help you so that they can come in and just be a facilitator to facilitate the conversation so you can be a participant in them. I just encourage you to do that. If you want that, just contact the district or go to the district website, and you can see there the facilitators that we've got for you. That's just our attempt to try and serve you. So pastors, thanks for your time today. Thanks for being great leaders. I'm praying that this is our present reality conversations will lead your church to greater, more effective fruit being born in your church. That really is my heart. And I just want you to know I'm pulling for you. I'm praying for you. I believe in you. And I'm asking God that he would allow you to see wonderful things come out of these conversations that you'll have. Have a great day. And I pray along with you that your church would reach its full redemptive potential. Thanks a lot.